Hey, I'm Rob. I'm here to show you a little bit about this new metal sled that I just got and the installation process and assembly of the MetalMaslow system. So check it out. Pre-cut sled, which I painted red. I used some brake caliper paint because that's what I had. The goal of this video is to show you basically how to put this together and where things go in order to get you up and going quickly. And so, anyway, this is the unboxing. This is everything that we start with. And I guess to start first, we probably want to do, typically we'll start with the frame. Now, the new, there are others who are making, new frames where it's just bolt-on brackets on the wall, which, this will work. So we can mount these on the wall, and as long as you space it correctly below, you mount these on the wall below it. But in order to mount the top beam correctly and get the spacing right, we need to make sure that our chain height is right first. So we want to so rather than do the frame first, I really think we got to do the sled first, because the sled, once balanced, will determine the height of our, usually the ring, but I'm not going to be using the ring, I'll be using the other way of doing it, the linkage. So I have the linkage set, but I think the height of the linkage will determine the height of the change, which then determines how far out the beam needs to be in order to keep those chains parallel to the work surface. So we'll start there. To start with the Z-axis, you got to get the bag with the Z-axis stuff, and that typically is the one with the belt in it. And so let's just start. We've got 2 linear bearing shafts with clamps for each end, 2 linear bearings for each shaft. And we've got the lead screw, which is going to be mounted in the middle. We have a pulley to go on the lead screw, a pulley to go on the motor, and a belt for them. We've got bearings that go on the lead screw on either end, so we'll just put those up here. There's the plate that's going to hold the clamp that will then hold the router. I'm not sure what that is, but then we've got a series of screws, and so just arrange them like okay, so to start with, we've got to mount this to this. Okay, so there's the lead screw nut, which has a anti-backlash screw on it, which you want to tighten right here. And then you have two inset lock washers with two spacer washers. I don't know if you can see that very well. Right there, there's spacer washers. And you have the chamfered head, the angle that lets it sit flush. And so you tighten that down. And you've got this held on with 4 nuts and 4 of those. So okay. And this goes on here. Like that. Alright, so each of these that holds the bearing blocks in place has a threaded backing piece and a screw. I don't know if you can see those. There's the threading backing piece and the screw together, and each one of those goes in each one of these bearing or linear bearing slide holes. And so we can all face in, that makes more sense, doesn't it? But in order to get them on there, you gotta hold them in from either from the back, like this. This goes inside here, like this, and then bolts down into the sled. So depending on where you have it sitting. So if we take the sled, like this, we set this down on the sled, holes like so. We have this guy here. We have these long bolts, and my guess is that these go here and here. And this, I'll slide those like that. And you see that lines up. So in this case, it's the third one back, and I believe it's going to be this one. Nope. It's going to be these ones. And then for the tops, it's just these lock nuts that go on here. Just like that. So, tighten that up, and then you tighten this down to hold it down into place, and that's what anchors the sled. Then you can put your vacuum piece on it. That's clever. Okay. So this will go on the motor, and that is the Z-axis right there. So there you have it. That's the Z-axis. So with that Z-axis, I still have a few extra bolts that we'll probably need for the motor mount. Also, I didn't tighten these yet. One thing I forgot to do was tighten the linear bearing attachment screws so that the linear bearings don't slide in and out. You just want to remove any slop you can, so any piece on here that's not tight needs to be tightened up, so just make sure as you go that you're getting things snug. They don't need to be like torqued, but they do need to be tight. You don't want them to vibrate loose when you're cutting, because that can create opportunities for error in your cut. Now we're putting on the vacuum attachment right here. Use the little under pieces like that, and two little short screws like that. So this goes underneath, this goes on top. Like that. You take the vacuum attachment right there. So this next is the linkage set. Here's the linkage set. So this piece, I'm not sure exactly how these go, but they go something like this and like this. I'm guessing that's how they go. And around that, right? So go like that, and then you have to put some screws in it to hold it in place and raise that up, make sure that it's tight. And then we'll have the ability to move that up and down, okay?
We're live. Great. We're not actually live though.
Alright. We got just a few more of these I gotta drop in there.
I think we should close the garage door. Cars are being
Every time you talk, it's picking you up too. Alright, there we go.
That's okay. I don't think people people watching this will mind.
Alright, go like that. Put this on there.
How do you zoom in on this thing?
Just like that. And then pull that.
Hey, Dad.
Tighten it up.
How do you zoom in on this thing?
The top lever.
This thing?
Yeah, pull. Slide it side to side.
Wait. Oh, I know that's tighter. I'm bad at this.
Looks like I should have a washer on that or something. Doesn't look like it's held on by much. Okay, and that's not tight either. So, well, isn't that enough just to move it? And then you tighten it back down. So it's quick loosen, quick tighten. You don't need to totally undo it.
I know, I'm just bad at this.
Okay.
Adjusting position. That's cheating. Your hands are covering what you're doing.
Well, I have to have my hands to do what I'm doing, otherwise...
I know. That sucks. Too bad your hands can't be invisible.
Invisible hands. That's what everyone needs.
Ooh, you should edit your hands out of the video and then it'll just be like the video does itself.
Good idea.
That's
That's a great idea.
that'd be cool.
We should do that.
You should. Except apparently that's supposed to be advanced stuff, so
Okay, so
maybe
now the
stop
motor's on.
animation would be good.
The linkage is on. You know,
I can't see the linkage from
you're
here.
right.
There. Now
I don't think that's right. I think it should go from here to here,
I can see everything.
from there to there. And then when you go... Yeah, I got the linkage on wrong. Pretty sure.
That's okay, Dad.
I know it's okay, but I'm just saying. I know that it's on wrong.
It's okay, Dad. I fixed the view. They couldn't see the linkage. But I fixed it. There we go.
I think the linkages are supposed to overlap. Yeah. I think this one comes over here.
Ah, your body's blocking it. We can't see. Abort mission.
Okay. I think that's how it goes. So then you have something like that.
You think that's how it goes, but you don't know.
I don't know.
I thought when you took videos you were supposed to know.
It might be that this one's supposed to go down here. Yeah, that might be the case. Huh. I don't know, I'll have to look it up. But you can see there's little screw holes here. And the chain goes through.
And you do something magical.
Magical.
Alright. Oh, that's a wrap.
Oh, this. Okay. That is.
That was loud.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
That is how we do that. So. All right. So, in order to put the sled rail here on the bottom of the sled, apparently you take it this way and you bend it around so that it fits on the bottom of the sled. But in order to attach it, it attaches to these square screws, pops into place, and so each one of these is put on with a screw and then a spacer and then one of these square nuts, and then you pop it on around that. So we have the screws in place. It's just a matter of a spacer and the nut goes on like that. Spacer and the nut. Goes on like that. Let's see, kind of like that. So then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them that go on there. So. There we go, like that. More or less. Apparently there's an alignment tool you can use for the end of that. Just let it sit like that. So there we have it. One minor detail on this. This bolt needs to switch to that hole, and this bolt needs to switch to that hole for the linkage, so that each linkage is directly across from here, but I have to move the Z-axis to get it there. So right now this guy's in the way, so I'll move him up and then put that in place. So that'll be the next little bit. I don't know if you can kind of see that, but in order for the linkage system to work right, the linkage has to be, the router bit has to be dead center between the 2 points of the linkage for each side, or it will not work right. So I've got to reconfigure this. I purchased the metal sled, but the linkage system, router, gantry, and Z-axis are on loan to me from MetalMaslow, and as a demo to kind of show how this works. The other thing is that I have the 100 RPM Z motor, and so it's actually geared down. Normally you'd have your large pulley on the motor and the smaller one on the lead screw, but because this is a faster motor, I've worked out the gearing to get it to work with Makerverse. Anyway, the thing that I wanted to show on this is that the linkage doesn't quite fit right. Normally the spacing on these screws would be the same, so that this and this would be parallel, this and this would be parallel. If they're not, then there's a possibility for error in the extreme corners as it spreads and changes. So this particular gantry Z-axis was designed to be used with the ring, and so the sled has holes for mounting the ring, and I have a ring, but it's on my other sled, and so I adapted this a little bit by moving these the linear bearings in just a little bit so that I could use the linkage. If you move them out, it's a little less stable, and you can put it on the inside, but then it limits how far down that the Z-axis can move. And so I wanted to make sure that that was clear, that this is not necessarily as it was intended, and yet it still works. The other thing that I didn't mention earlier was when you connect this linkage, You can get a little bracket so that you can use a cotter pin similar to the ring, or you can just use a cotter pin straight through the last link of the chain, which is what I've done here. So for clarity, if you're going to use the gantry, use the ring. If you're going to use the linkage system, you get the C-beam, which is a little bit different in how it works. It takes up less space for this. So that's the clarification here. But anyway, MetalMaslow's been nice enough to let me try out some of his stuff. It works, and I'm pretty happy with it. So anyway, you should check it out. This sled, as it is, has the faster Z-axis compared to the rigid router. So if you're looking for an upgrade, you can get the sled, you can get the gantry and the Z, you can take your ring that you already have and put that on here. You can get the clamp for your router, and you're ready to go. I think it's a great upgrade option, and so you should hit up MetalMaslow and see what they've got for a sled design for a more reliable and a faster Z-axis.